You have said the word horsepower 100 times in your life. You said it about your car, maybe your lawnmower, maybe a boat. You never once thought about what it means. It means this. There was an animal so essential to human survival that when we finally built a machine to replace it, the only way we could measure that machine's strength was to count how many horses it would take to do the same work. We named the engine of the modern world after the animal it buried. And then we forgot the animal. This is the story of that animal, not the noble creature on the calendar. The engine, the one that built everything you have ever called civilization, carried our entire species to the edge of the modern world and was left standing at the door of it the moment we no longer needed it. Start with a fact that should not be true. For 4,000 years, the human race did not get any faster. Think about that. From the first war chariots around 2,000 years before Christ, all the way to the year 1900, the fastest a human being could move across the surface of the earth never changed. Julius Caesar racing across his empire, Genghis Khan sweeping out of the east, Napoleon moving armies across Europe, Abraham Lincoln in the age of the telegraph and the steam press. Every one of them, separated by thousands of years, traveled at the exact same top speed. The speed of a galloping horse. A message could not outrun a horse. An army could not outpace one. An empire could only stretch as far as a horse could carry a command and bring back an answer. For 4,000 years, the horse was not a form of transport. The horse was the speed limit of history itself, the hard ceiling on how fast anything human could happen. Everything we built in those 40 centuries, every war, every kingdom, every idea that spread from one city to another, moved at horse speed because there was nothing faster in the world. And whoever had the better horse won. The largest land empire that has ever existed was not built by the people with the best cities or the most gold. It was built by people who were born in the saddle. The Mongols lived on horseback. They could ride for days, sleep in the saddle, shoot a bow at a full gallop, and outrun and outlast any army that came against them. They didn't conquer the world despite being horsemen. They conquered it because they were. From the Pacific to the gates of Europe, an empire stretched across the entire span of Asia, and it was carried there on hooves. Civilizations that had the horse swallowed civilizations that did not. When the Spanish crossed the ocean and brought horses back to the Americas, where the animal had gone extinct thousands of years before, the people who lived there had never seen anything like it. A man fused to a beast, moving faster than any human could run. It changed the balance of an entire hemisphere. That is how much the horse mattered. The presence or absence of this one animal decided who ruled and who fell on every continent for thousands of years. But the war stories are the loud part. They are not the biggest part. Forget the cavalry for a moment. Forget the conquerors. Think instead about the field behind your house and the one behind that, and every field in every country for 5,000 years. Somebody had to break that ground. Somebody had to drag the plow through the earth so that wheat could grow so that people could eat. For almost all of human history, that somebody was a horse. Every cart of grain hauled to a city, every stone dragged up to build a cathedral, every barrel, every wagon, every load of timber and coal and brick that built the world you live in, moved by muscle. And more often than not, it was the muscle of a horse leaning into a harness day after day until the work was done, or it was. That is why the word exists at all. When a man named James Watt built one of the first practical steam engines, he had to sell it to people who had never bought an engine before, people who had only ever known one source of power. So he measured his machine against the thing it was meant to replace. How many horses is this worth? And the answer became a unit: horsepower. To this day, the engine in your car is rated in the ghosts of the animals it made obsolete. Every time the number goes up, you are counting horses that are no longer there. And here is the part of this story that almost no one ever tells. the part you have to sit with. We did not build the world on willing partners. We broke them. We worked horses to death by the millions, in the black dark of the mines, hauling coal until their lungs gave out, some of them living their entire lives underground and never once seeing the sun. We drove them along canals and through city streets until they dropped in the traffic, and then we dragged the body away and harnessed the next one. The animal that carried our civilization did not volunteer. It was made to. Generation after generation, we spent its body to buy our progress, and then we marched it into the worst thing we ever made. In the First World War, an estimated 8 million horses died. 8 million. We led them into a war that had stopped being a place for horses, into machine guns and barbed wire and artillery and gas, into a churned ocean of mud that swallowed them whole. They had no idea where they were. They had no idea why. They could not understand the war they were dying in. They only knew the hand that fed them and the voice that led them forward, and they went forward into the fire. Because we asked them to, they starved. They drowned in mud. They were torn apart by shells in a quarrel that was not theirs and could never be theirs. We have monuments to the men of that war, and we should. We have almost nothing for the 8 million animals we fed into it beside them. That is the debt. 5,000 years of it. A mountain of horses, worked and ridden and slaughtered, who built every empire and plowed every field and carried every message and fought every war, and asked for nothing but grass and a place to stand. And then, in the span of a single human life, we walked away. The engine arrived, the car, the tractor, the truck, and after 5,000 years, after an alliance older than writing, older than the wheel in most of the world, older than nearly everything we call history, it ended almost overnight. A city street in 1900 was a river of horses. By 1930, it was empty of them. One generation. That fast. The animal that had been the single most important creature in human civilization for 50 centuries became, in about 30 years, a hobby, a thing for racing and for rich men's farms and for children's birthday parties. We did not hold a funeral. We did not build a wall with their names on it. We did not even really notice. We simply found something faster, and we left the horse standing in the field, and we never looked back, because we are very good at forgetting the things that carried us once we no longer need to be carried. So here is the only thing I will ask of you. The next time you hear that word, horsepower, the next time it rolls past you in an advertisement or a conversation and means nothing at all, stop for 1 second, because you are saying the true name of the animal that carried your entire species out of the dirt and up to the edge of the modern world. It plowed the ground that fed you. It built the cities you live in. It died in the millions in wars it could never understand. And it got nothing for it but the work and the whip, and at the very end, a goodbye we never even bothered to say. We measure our engines in horses. The least we can do is remember why. If a horse ever meant something to you, if you ever rode one, worked beside one, or just stood close enough to feel how big and how gentle that much power can be, tell me about it in the comments. And subscribe, because this series isn't done. There are animals in our history we worshipped, animals we feared, and animals like this one that we simply used until there was nothing left to use and forgot. The next one is coming. Ring the bell and don't let us forget another one.